What's up, YouTubers? Mr. McRaven here, back again with another Borderlands 2 episode, and today I'm going to give you a quick look at my solo build for one of my characters in the game, my favourite character, Maya the Siren. This is a level 61 build, so all the skill points used here are for a level 61 character. So I'm going to give you a quick look over the three skill trees and where I like to place the points within the skill trees, and then I'm going to take a quick look at some of the kit that I like to use alongside this skill tree. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go into Lynchwood and kick up some trouble and show you just how face-meltingly effective this build can be against enemies. Now, Lynchwood is a great place to come if you want to test out one of your builds. It's also a great place to come if you want to level up a low-end character, because there's always a good bunch of enemies here in Lynchwood, and they're usually quite high level as well. So without further ado, we're going to take a look at the build, and one of the first points you're going to want to put in is in Phaselock, which obviously puts up one of the enemies into a bubble and melts them to death. And you'll see why they melt to death in a moment. So we're going to start with the skill tree of Cataclysm, and this is where you're going to get most of your damage from. Now, I am using a legendary class mod, which is going to give me additional points in different aspects of the three trees, and you can see I've got an additional 5 points here from the legendary class mod in Flicker. Now, Flicker increases your chance to cause status effects with fire, shock, corrosive and slag guns. 60% more likely to cause elemental effects with guns. As you know, with all elemental guns there is a chance to ignite. Include the 60% from this and your guns are constantly going to be doing the maximum amount of damage. So it's a no-brainer to use Flicker. Moving across, we see in Foresight increases magazine size and reload speed with all weapon types. Nothing to dislike here. You've got massive magazine, which means you're going to be spending more time pushing out bullets than anything else. And when you do run out of bullets, you've got an additional 50% in reload speed, so you're going to be slapping a new clip in no time there. So you've got an additional 5 skill points from a legendary Siren class mod, pushing up the percentages there. Moving down in the skill tree, Immolate adds fire damage to all your shots fired in Fight for Your Life. This one I kind of gave it a miss, because fire damage is one of those things that only affects flesh enemies, and so sometimes in Fight for Your Life, if you're somewhere like Opportunity where you're surrounded by loaders, then fire damage isn't really going to do a massive amount for you. So given this one a miss on this occasion. Moving across straight to Helios, or Helios, depends on how you want to pronounce it. Phaselocking an enemy causes a fiery explosion, damaging all nearby enemies, and Helios rank damage of 5 there. So there's nothing to dislike there. Using a Phaselock is going to cause a massive explosion, and this adds on to further down in the tree. You can see the amount of damage you're going to cause just by Phaselocking, and you'll see that when we go into Lynchwood. So Phaselocking there on Helios, worth investing the points there. Backdraft, your melee attacks deal additional fire damage. Also, when your shields become depleted, you create a fiery explosion. Again, it's one of those things, melee attacks, I'm not planning on running up to enemies and slapping them in the face. To be honest, I want to be standing from a reasonable distance, shooting the crap out of them and causing massive amounts of elemental damage. So Backdraft is one I've given a miss on this occasion. Now, moving on to Chain Reaction, while you have an enemy phase-locked, all of your shots that hit enemies have a chance to ricochet and hit another nearby enemy. Again, given this one a miss, I really want to be shooting the enemy, not depending on or hoping that some of the bullets that I fire will ricochet and hit them, because the amount of damage that's going to come from that when compared to the amount of damage that's going to come from shots that I fire isn't going to be as great, so I gave him that one a miss. Now, there's only 1 point needed to invest in the next one, which is Cloud Kill. So this one's definitely worth slapping on. So Cloud Kill, shooting an enemy creates a lingering acid cloud, dealing constant corrosive damage to enemies who touch it. Only one acid cloud can be active at a time, and the duration is 5 seconds. So of course, when you use your Phaselock, you pull them into the Phaselock, you shoot them, you're going to be doing the Phaselock damage, you're going to be causing the Helios to proc off with a fiery explosion, then the acid cloud's going to be going, and later on when we look at the motion skill tree, you're going to be pulling all the enemies together, so you're going to be causing a fiery explosion, acid, you're going to be pulling them together, you're going to be absolutely kicking some arse with this build. Now, moving down to Reaper, you deal additional gun damage to any enemy that has more than 50% of his health remaining. Gun damage at 40%. There's nothing to dislike here, and if you've seen my previous video on how the damage system works in Borderlands 2, an additional 40% to your base weapons damage is massive, and it's going to affect any enemy that has more than 50% of his health remaining. So if you've got a large group of enemies and they're all fairly high health, this is going to help you in a major way. So Reaper is one you definitely want to invest all 5 points in. Moving down to Blight Phoenix, kill skill. Killing an enemy causes you to deal constant fire and corrosive damage to nearby enemies for a short time. The damage level is based on that and Blight Phoenix. So I've got 4 points invested in that. You can invest all 5 if you change one of the other skill trees, but I've got 4 invested in that, which is pretty much enough for me. Now, moving down to Ruin, this is one you want to definitely have. It's an action skill augmentation. Phaselock now slags, electrocutes and corrodes all nearby enemies. There's nothing to dislike about spending 1 point in this tree. Not only are you slagging them, electrocuting them and corroding them, but slag, being the most crucial here, is going to be giving you an extra 200% damage, depending on which weapons you're using. And if you're playing with other players, then if the enemy you're phase locking is slagged, then they're going to be taken out really quickly. So Ruin is definitely one that you're going to want to keep. So you've got a fiery explosion going off, you've got an acid cloud going off. Later on, by using Converge in the motion tree, you're going to be pulling all the enemies together. You're going to be causing a shitload of damage from Reaper and Blight Phoenix. And then you've got Ruin, which is slagging, electrocuting and corroding. So basically you're going to be doing a shitload of damage to any enemy that you phase lock, plus enemies surrounding them as well. Now, being a solo build, this doesn't have a res, as you can instantly see, and of course you can change this to put 1 point in res if you're playing online with other players. Now, Harmony is one of those builds where you can adjust it to suit your needs if you're playing solo or playing with friends and you want to restore health and you want to res them from a distance. But when you're playing solo, you don't necessarily always need that. So this is how I've decided to choose this build. Now, given that I'm using a legendary Siren class mod, I've got an additional 5 points here, so I thought might as well use it. And in Mind's Eye, it increases the critical hit damage, which is the important one we're looking at here, and melee damage. So critical hit damage is plus 50%. And as I explained in one of my previous videos with regards to damage, any critical hit is double the damage of the weapon's base damage. So you're doing 150% critical hit damage, plus your badass rank. If you have any critical hit damage added there, you're going to be adding that percentage on top. So you can be doing 150% plus critical hit damage, which is great. The melee damage is not really that important, but if you're that close to an enemy and you've got the additional damage, it's great to be able to use that as well. You can of course put some points into Sweet Release, which is also useful sometimes. Phase locking the enemy, if they die you get additional health coming back from that. Restoration, shooting at other players heals them. Now this is something you could choose to use or not, depending if you're playing online with other players. It can increase your maximum health, but that's something that you can get from using a Relic, which I'll show you in a moment. Instead, I've decided to invest it in Wreck. While you have an enemy phase locked, you gain increased fire rate and damage with all gun types. So the fire rate goes up by 50%, and the damage goes up by 30%, which you add again to the weapon's base damage. So if you include this with the foresight, magazine size and reload speed, plus you're going to be having the phase lock going off all the time because I've adjusted the motion skill tree, your enemy's going to be phase locked, so you're going to gain additional fire rate at 50%. Your magazines are going to be massive, and even if they are, even when they run out, you're going to be able to reload into a new clip straight away. So you're going to be spitting out bullets at super speed, and the magazines are going to be massive. You're going to be constantly dealing a shitload of damage to your enemies, and the damage percentages just keep adding up with this build. Now, recompense: when you take health damage, there is a chance that your attacker takes damage equal to the amount that you've lost. You could invest in this one, but I find that it's pretty much a waste of time for my build, so I've left that one well alone. The res we've already covered. You can change this if you play online. And in the next skill tree I've invested in is Elated. While you have an enemy phase locked, you and your friends regenerate health. Now this one benefits both you and online players. So in some way, if you're playing online, you can, instead of using res, you can use Elated. Because you're going to be using your phase lock constantly, you gain the benefits of regenerating your health. Now you can invest some of the points from Mind's Eye into Elated, so you're boosting up your health regen per second if you like, but I've got 2 points invested in that, which gives me 2% of my health per second every time I phase lock. So that's all good on that one. Now moving on to the last part of the skill tree, this is motion. This is one that you can adjust as you please, but this is the way I like to have it. And we're looking at Ward here. Improves your shield capacity and shield recharge delay. The capacity I'm not too worried about, but the shield recharge delay is going to come into effect when I show you the shield that I like to use. And the shield recharge delay there is minus 72%, which is awesome. So I'm not going to be waiting ages for the shield to regenerate. And that's going to come into play quite effectively when you see the shield that I use with this build. Now, Accelerate increases damage and bullet speed with all gun types. Now, gun damage, again, is another hit to the gun damage percentage. So all these percentages are all adding to the weapon's base damage, which is all good, which means you're going to be devastating enemies with huge amounts of gun damage. And bullet speed, well, they're going to be going faster out of a bigger clip, and they're going to be ripping through enemies with the increased fire rate as well. So you've got increased fire rate from Rec, plus you will have increased bullet speed from Accelerate and the damage as well, so it's all good there. Kinetic Reflection is a bit like Chain Reaction here. I don't want to be hoping that the bullets that ricochet are hitting an enemy. I want to be hitting directly, so I kind of left this one well alone. Inertia. Kill skill. Killing an enemy causes your shields to quickly regenerate and increases your reload speed for a few seconds. Well, we've already got increased reload from Foresight, so not really going to need inertia, so I've left that one well alone. Movement speed with Fleet increases your shields while they're depleted. Well, movement speed isn't really an issue because using the legendary class mod, we're going to see that we gain additional 45% while the enemy is phase locked anyway, so we can leave that one out and go straight to Converge. Now, Converge is one that really helps you out here. It's action skill augmentation. Your phase lock ability now pulls nearby enemies towards an original target, and this deals a small amount of damage to the affected enemies. Well, it doesn't cause a small amount of damage because you're going to be pulling the enemies up all in a phase lock. So you phase lock the enemy, this little thing is going to suck them all together, and then over here Cataclysm is really going to start to kick some ass with a fiery explosion coming from Helios, an acid cloud coming from here, and where is it? Blight Phoenix. You're going to be shooting at the phase lock people, and they're going to be getting fire, corrosive, slag going on here, electrocute, corrode. Everything's going to be kicking off with not only the enemy that you phase lock, but surrounding enemies as well. And you'll see that when we actually run through Lynchwood and start killing some enemies. Quicken increases the cooldown rate of your phase lock ability. Now we've got 18% here on the phase lock, and you don't have to have all 3 points in this. You can move one of the points from this over to Res in Harmony. But I've got 3 points in this, so I've got 18% phase lock cooldown. So my phase lock is going to be constantly available to me, more and more. And when we look over here, we're going to move over to the kit now. If we look at the legendary Siren class mod that I'm using, the cooldown rate in this is plus 44%. So the 44% plus 18%, you're looking at a massive cooldown rate there. So the phase lock's constantly going to be available. Gun damage, again, with this class mod, you're getting even more percentage of gun damage. So you've got gun damage, gun damage, gun damage plus gun damage. So everything in this build is going to be speccing up the base weapon damage on all of your weapons by a massive percentage, so you're going to be doing huge amounts of damage. Now you might notice at the bottom it says increases your movement speed by 45% while phase lock. You're constantly going to be phase locking because you've got the cooldown rate, which means that you're constantly going to be moving about 45% quicker, so that means that you don't really need to use Fleet within the motion skill tree, because your legendary class mod is going to be covering it. It's going to be making you run around like a maniac anyway. So the legendary class mod is pretty much a must for me, I have to say. Now, relics are one of those things that, well, it's really down to choice. You can use elemental relics if you want. You can use a vitality relic by maxing out the max health. It's like I could add the vitality relic here, give me the additional 54% health because I didn't invest in restoration, which increases the maximum health, so I could use that relic. But really, I think relics come down to personal choice. I have only a couple here: pistol damage and fire rate, plus a little additional percentage in fight for your lifetime. I actually quite like the Sheriff's Badge because I like using the Infinity Pistol. But the choice with Relic is really up to you. I'm going to use the Slag Relic, which gives me an additional 29% slag damage. So all this elemental damage should be devastating. Now, personally, I love using this shield, which is the Blackhole. As you can see from the weapons that I use, I've got fire, I've got slag, I've got corrosion, I've got all the elemental effects coming into play from Cataclysm and the other skill trees. And also, when I get knocked down, if I get knocked down, I've got the black hole, which is basically, as soon as my shield is depleted, I'm going to suck all the enemies together, just like Converge, and then I'm going to explode with a massive 366,000% damage from the Nova from the black hole. So if I get knocked down, shield's going to pull it all in together, and then it's going to explode and take out the enemies. And the amount of times that this shield has saved me in second wind is just ridiculous. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go into Lynchwood, and I'm going to fight the enemies there, and you're going to see just how effective this build really is. Now, I don't know if you're going to be able to hear me over the enemies screaming, but we shall soon see. So I will see you in a second in Lynchwood, and let's see if we can kick some ass with this build. Okay folks, so I've entered Lynchwood, and I'm going to go and try and piss off as many enemies as I can. But before we begin, what I thought I would mention, which I didn't mention before, is it's always kind of a good idea to have a rocket launcher in one of your weapon slots. Should you go down, if you fire a rocket off in the general direction of the enemy, you're quite likely to get a second wind, so it's always a good idea to try and have a rocket launcher in one of your weapon slots. Ideally, if you can get one, try and use a Northfleet. I'm going to be using one of the new pearlescent rockets, the Dumba Tunguska, and there might be an occasion in this video where I might actually need to use it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go into Lynchwood, piss off some enemies, and hopefully they'll be able to get the shield to go off to show you how that be helpful with second winds. And you can see how effective the phase lock is at causing massive rainbow amounts of elemental damage. So let's get him up there, melt his face off. So I've gone down. See if I can't get this guy. Critical hit damage coming into play there. I'll just send you up in the air because you're annoying me. Down again, so it might be time to break out that rocket launcher if I can find it. There we go. So the rocket launcher comes into play there, as you can see. Let's get these enemies up in the air, slag them up. Oh, look at the pretty rainbow colours. And stand a chance. And you can stay down there on the train track. Phase lock coming into play again, that cooldown rate really coming into effect. That guy didn't stand a chance. Jump across the tracks before the train comes. Phase lock them up. Suck them all together. Absolutely devastating. Oh, did that guy just get hit by the train? Oh, I hope he did. I really hope he did. There's the shield going off. Bang! There's the electric damage. So let's get him up in the air. Rainbow colours. Just love it. So as you can see, it's not really taxing. Not really too much trouble handling all these level 62 enemies here in Lynchwood. Let's get you up in the air, guys, shall we? Oh, the damage, the damage. It's too much. Oh look, face lock available again, and you're dead. Boom, and away they go. So there's no mods, no cheats here, just plain old skill tree build. So if you want to duplicate this build and try and use it for yourself, see how effective it is for you, it's worth a go. Where are you going? You're not going to be immune to damage either, mate. There we go. Oh no, I'm down. What am I going to do? Oh, I think I'll just switch to my rocket launcher. Blow your face off. So there we go. Maximum amount of trouble that I got into there. Where is that guy shooting from? Just stick a phase lock. Gets them all sucked back. So We're going to run away to safety. Leave them guys to it. So as you can see, the build is very effective at melting faces. You've got all the elements kicking off there. You've got fire, you've got slag, you've got shock, and you've got corrode. All kicking off. Where are those guys? There he is. Phase locking from here. So you can see that the phase lock is causing a nice amount of damage. Oh, just knocked me off where I was standing. So he's still damaging away there just from the phase lock alone. So I think, did he die? So it's all good with this build. By all means, give it a try, and if you think this video has been helpful, then please leave a comment, like, or subscribe, and let me know, and I will do some more builds in the future using other characters, and hopefully I'll be able to get a build up of the new character Krieg, which will be upcoming within the next week or so. So until then, take care, have fun, and I'm being Mr. McRaven, and this is Borderlands 2. Goodbye for now.